right, so here we go. We are getting ready for our first match of the evening.
Well,
now
seen
this
Duane here
is going to be
before,
the championship compound senior
we know
division.
We'll see him
this
here
is for third
many
place.
times again.
And Duane Price from Wisconsin
and
is our first one out. You can see his
score.
He shot an 896 with 71X in order to get to this point.
Next up, it's going to be Mr. Jackie White of Missouri.
Next person is from Missouri. It's Jackie White, a veteran in this class. Shot an 896 with 68X to get himself into that third place position. So this happens oftentimes in archery, you know. No matter
Jackie shoots for Matthews and Easton.
10 ring is.
Comes from Moberly,
get
Missouri.
To the point where we have
home club is Lucas Archery
points.
and
I mean,
he is
in the
his
flight
own
that I
coach.
was in, dividing up the flights, in the entire flight of folks that we had in that, there was only
Next
one point
up,
that divided
Mr.
us.
Chris Berry
There's
of
an
Missouri.
Count, but only 1 point that separated us in that flight. And so for us going into that, we had a good opportunity to win it. This is Chris Berry out of Missouri as well. He shot an 896 with 66X in order to get to this point. I mean, Duane Price, Jackie White, we've seen some of these archers on this stage. We've seen them on these feeds over the years.
This next guy almost doesn't need an introduction.
He used to shoot bow hunter.
It's Tony Tazza.
And has moved into the open division
from Pennsylvania.
Duane Price has been here many
Easton.
times. This is his 4th year as a senior pro. He's again in that shoot off for third. That's Tony Tazza there.
Tony Tazza out of Pennsylvania.
This is he's been shooting about 20 years. Shoots for Hoyt Easton. His home club is Flood City Bowman.
You've seen this man before. You'll see him again. It's Don Ward, ladies and gentlemen.
2016 IBO National Triple Crown champion, both as a senior pro. Looks up to Jesse Broadwater.
They call him the old man.
That's Don Ward.
He's been shooting for 33 years.
Don shot an 896, 59X in order to get to this position.
Comes from Wisconsin.
He's out of Wisconsin.
And maybe one of the more experienced shooters on this floor today.
Let's talk about this senior class. How old do you need to be to get into senior? It's over 50, isn't it?
Yep, you need to be 50 on the day the tournament begins. They call Don Ward the old man. He's been doing this for 33 years.
We've got second and third place being shot.
He didn't look old at all.
Extremely underrated. He's a great shooter.
Let's welcome from Pennsylvania,
he won this in
Ferraro.
Vegas in 2010. He's also the Midwest Open winner, and the Iowa Pro-Am winner. 14 Wisconsin state titles. Set a new record at the senior games with an 893 out of a possible 900.
Wow.
Dane Johnson.
Yeah, Don's a great shooter.
So this will be for third place, and what they're doing right now is they're going to get on their bales and they're going to set their targets up. Now these targets are dual face.
And I'll bet he's going to be a familiar face in years to come.
It was a single spot. We call single spot in archery. Generally, we find that recurve shooters
Eli Hughes of North Carolina.
A single spot. Not many compound shooters will, because basically you beat your arrows up if you do that.
Yeah, you beat your arrows up, and if you get a glance out, you know, you don't get the points you should be getting.
Now Bruce.
So at the same time, we're going to have the young adult championship compound.
And as you can see, the senior pros are already putting their targets
Anthony
up.
Ferraro out of Pennsylvania.
Everybody's going to get a warm-up.
He's coming to the stage right now.
And then
we
we
have
go
Duane Johnson and Eli Hughes.
score.
So Pennsylvania, Indiana, and North Carolina all represented in the championship compound young adult. These are some names that you definitely want to pay attention to, because they're the rising stars in the sport.
Rolling music.
They have a great support system behind them that gets them here to Las Vegas. And that goes from parents to clubs to actual archery shops to Archery Learning Center with George Riles and his crew. You see Duane Johnson there out of Indiana.
See one of the Hornets down there.
George Riles' group. They call them the Hornets. George Riles out of Georgia. Great program down there. Education, George, of course, so behind getting the youth of America not only into archery, Chuck, but also developing incredible young archers and young men and women.
George has an incredible program. He was awarded a couple of really prestigious awards through World Archery as Developmental Coach of the Year, and then he was selected as the overall Coach of the Year, which includes all disciplines. That's Eli Hughes there.
And how about that score? An 899 71X, only dropping 1 point in 3 days. So
these are the young men we're going to see in the future. That's Carson Sapp right next to Eli. Carson won his division today. He was the first young man to shoot a 900 in his ever shot a 900, back-to-back Vegas winner.
Chuck, you're not quite in the senior division yet, but
you know, at one time I was really looking forward to the senior division, but now the new seniors that are coming in, it's not any easier. These guys are really, really tough. So Bruce is going over the rules there, how the shoot-off is going to work. That's Doug Joyce in the referee shirt. Doug has been around for decades in the archery industry and is a member of the Easton Foundation and helps keep the score to make sure everything is recorded properly. And they're getting up. This is going to be their first practice end. So you'll notice it'll get very, very quiet in here. The crowd is very respectful. They try to give these archers no distraction. Of course, there's no flash photography or anything here. They have 2 minutes to shoot 3 arrows. They can let down as many times as they like. Letting down is when they decide not to shoot the shot and they relax the bow and draw it again.
One of the big advantages, of course, of practicing is most of these shooters, well, none of them really have shot under these conditions. They may have shot in the arena itself, but with now the setup specifically for this final shoot-off, the lighting may be a little bit different. You got to concentrate on your aiming. Where is your scope set, peep sight? How is the light affecting your shot? And so what you'll see oftentimes is, especially the youth shooters, is they're after each shot, they're going to bring the binoculars up to their eyes and take a look. Where did that shot hit? And see if they need to make any type of adjustment to their aiming gear.
Right. And what you'll see is they warmed up in one of the side halls. And because the lighting is a little different, like you say, in here, they want to make sure that everything is just so. Maybe make a couple of clicks of adjustment to their sight. Make sure their arrows are hitting where they want them to hit. And that whistle allows them to go forward. There's a great shot of the targets that they're shooting at there. That's Anthony Ferraro, Dane Johnson, and Eli Hughes target.
Taz.
Championship compound, young adult.
Unfortunately, Don Ward is not transparent, so I can't tell you.
And this is all part of the procedure. What you're going to hear, you're hearing through our microphones, you'll hear it through the mics that we have laid out throughout the arena. You're going to hear different whistles, and that's all procedural things that happen normally. Even when you go to a local tournament, the archery industry tries to make sure that they're consistent with how people are called to the line, making sure that shooters are ready, and then letting them know that now the range is clear and it's time to let arrows fly.
Yeah, it's all very regimented, very strict. They have to get the arrow launched within a certain period of time.
Now, Chuck, when you're in this situation, so here you are in front of all these people, doesn't matter what your age is, really.
Jackie's clean.
Are you nervous on the warm-up?
Tony's clean.
Or are you...
Don's clean.
You are quite a bit nervous. You know, you're trying to make sure that everything is laid down and set just the way it's supposed to be, and trying to make sure that everything's comfortable. It is a little bit nerve-wracking. You know, where the nerves really kick in is this first end of score here. Ferraro absolutely center punched his. There's a shot of Don Ward there.
I check. Looking at Don there, he wears glasses, okay, and having the experience that you have, obviously, with being the founder of Feather Vision. When you're looking at shooting compound, do glasses really affect your magnification or how you look through the peep sight?
They can. Yeah, they really truly can, and it depends on what kind of lenses the archer has purchased from their local optician, whether it's a bifocal or a single vision lens or something like that. You'll see, you know, here in a shot, Chris Berry has a little piece of tape on his glasses, and that's so that when he gets it full draw, it kind of blocks that left eye there, so his vision isn't overtaking from the left eye. He's only sighting through his right eye.
And that's actually a big thing when you bring that up in any shooting sport, is what eye dominant are you and how do you deal with that? Because you may be right-handed but be left eye dominant. And some people have done some crazy things, even at the world archery level that I've seen. That people have done some crazy things over the years in order to really get themselves in alignment with their dominant eye. So this is our first scoring end right now.
Mm-hmm. So what you'll see in the scoring there, that's shot of Doug Joyce, and he's recording what the judges have called the arrows. You see that there's 3 different judges up there. What happens is each judge looks at the 3 arrows and decides what the total score is. Then privately and quietly, they will tell Doug what the score is. And then it's 2 out of 3. It's the, it's majority rules. So if there's a difference or a discrepancy in any of the judges' calls, the other 2 will overrule.
Tazza 30.
And then Bruce announces it to the crowd so that everybody knows how it's being scored.
So this is a shoot-off for 3rd place for the seniors.
Mm-hmm.
How does eliminations happen?
It is closest, well, they use the X, the inner ring, as the 10 ring. And so basically it's last man standing.
And Ward 30. Let's hear it for these senior pros. All planes.
So all of those men shot a 30.
Here comes
so they get to do this again. And you may see 3 guys drop out all at once. You may see them fall off one at a time. But they will shoot until they have a winner. And because it's
Ferraro,
a podium
30.
position, it has to be shot off. All the other guys that are remaining, if they miss or are eliminated, then they'll take their overall score and X count, and that's how they'll land for the positions for the rest of the weekend.
Johnson 30. Nice job.
Great shooting from Anthony, or from Dane there. He shot a 30.
Yep.
And Eli Hughes.
And Hughes 30. They're all tied.
Oh yeah. All right, so we go to another round.
All right.
Right, go to another round. And again, they will score that inner ring, just that inner X ring will now become the 10. And this is where you see the pressure really mount. Because now a Big 10 doesn't help you.
It's interesting in having a conversation with some archers that are pro archers that are going to be in this championship shoot-off later on. How pressure shows up for people is different. Some people physically shake. Some people can't maintain mental focus. For some, it's both.
It is. A guy like Tony here that we're watching on TV, Tony's been doing this for so long, and he's been in so many shoot-offs, you'd find that, it should affect him a little bit less because he's got that experience, on the 3D circuit. He looked really solid in that shot there.
Liners. Lots of liners.
We're hearing there's a lot of liners. What that means when we talk about a liner, and that what we're talking about is the actual arrow touching the line, or it might be just out. So that's where looking at these arrows and having 2 out of 3 judges make that determination can determine your fate sometimes.
Absolutely. So when they score it, the arrow needs only to touch the next highest scoring line to get that next highest score. Looks like Duane's probably got one that's close. Jackie White also has one that's probably out of the X ring. He's got 2 X's there.
Duane's got a line.
Chris Berry has one that's way out of the X, 2 X's there. Tony has 2 that are outside the X line. Don Ward also 2, possibly 3 out of the X line.
Cumulative points are being put up unofficially.
Ferraro absolutely, Anthony absolutely smoked that target with 3 X's.
I'd like to remind everybody, this is archery. Come on, let's hear from
into that area and get near. And for any local shooters, anybody who's getting into the sport, one rule that's solid when you're scoring: never touch the arrows.
Never touch the arrow, never touch the paper, never touch the target butt. Because it has the opportunity to displace the paper or the arrow, and you would get the next lowest score. At that time, the judges can't make the call based on where the arrow landed, and so they default to the next lowest score. You see Jerry getting down there. That's a lighted
29.
magnifier.
Here you go, Duane.
What he's looking for, and this is one of the important things with judges. Judges are not there to call the arrow out. They're there to protect the archer's score, which means if there's any way that arrow is in, they want to benefit the doubt to the archer.
Okay.
Right? They don't want to call it out unless it really is out. Obviously, they're not going to give away points that aren't there, but they're not there to be the bad guy and take points away. They're there to protect the score of the archer and really protect that in the most professional, official manner.
White, 28.
So Jackie
now,
officially at 28.
Yeah. Looks like Duane at 29, possibly. So also keep in mind that if everyone shot at 29,
They would do it
everyone
again.
would advance. Yeah, it's not just like who hit a 30. So it all comes down to their points.
Barry, 29.
So Chris and Duane.
So 29 for Chris
With
Berry
29s each.
out of Missouri in the senior class.
Taz is next.
As you can see, our officials moving from left to right. So Tony Tazza up next as we await the official score.
Duane Price will move on. Chris Berry will move on unless there's a 30 down
Tazza,
there.
28.
Tazza with a 28.
That
So
makes
he'll
things
be
very
eliminated.
interesting.
Yep. And then we have Don Ward, and I think Don has a couple out down there.
Don Ward's going to have to clean it to finish this off.
And see, this is what I was talking about in the last end. You might have 2 or 3. You might have 1 or 2.
Yep.
Doesn't look like
You
it.
might have the
And
whole line.
Ward, 28.
The 28.
We've still got
So
two
3
gentlemen
men eliminated right
still in the
there.
mix.
And you can see sportsmanship, really just what archery is all about. Handshakes all around, and that'll do it for that.
And these guys are good friends. They compete on the tour. They compete in the ASA realm, the IBO realm, the NFAA realm. They've known each other for decades. So
Now on to the
number one, they want to win, but number two, they want their buddy to win.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's important that they keep that leverage there.
Scores coming up next.
And you'll see they'll
Ferraro,
change
30.
faces now so that they have a nice fresh face so the judges can call a great target. So that there's no holes there that the arrow could possibly land in.
Is the next one to be scored.
So it looks like Anthony Ferraro with a 30 and a big cheer from the crowd, as now the judges are on Dane Johnson.
And Johnson, 29.
Nice.
29 for Johnson. Good shooting, but
Then they'll move over to
Eli
Eli.
Hughes.
Jerry, one of the longtime officials here. I've worked with him in the past. That's Brian Scheffler. Brian Scheffler is the vice president of the NFAA. He's also the head of all the officials here at this event. He helps train them so that they all abide by the same code, use the same methods. They give each arrow 3 looks. You can see him sneaking in there to get a look from both sides. And then he'll give it a good solid call.
And Eli, 28.
So Eli will be eliminated with a 28.
For that category.
Dane with a 29,
Yeah,
and
give
Anthony
a big round of
Ferraro
applause. We have Anthony
will come
Ferraro
away
at second.
with 2nd place.
so the way this actually
Third there, Bruce.
Yep.
sorted
We've got
itself
Dane
out.
Johnson at
Carson
third
Sapp
and
from
Eli
Georgia
Hughes with
in
fourth.
the
Give
compound
'em all
young
big hand.
adult division
Congratulations to our future.
walked
ladies
away
and
with the
gentlemen.
victory.
And he shot a perfect 900. He was the
perfect-
young man we pointed out earlier.
Yep. And so what you're seeing now is this is the shoot for 2nd and 3rd place.
There you go.
What a great shoot-off for those young men. 16 years
Where you
old.
see greatness starting.
That's the future of our sport in men's professional archery
Speaking of
right there.
greatness, we got another shoot-off between Mr. Perry and Mr. Price.
A little smile from
Two of the
Anthony
best in the
Ferraro.
And they're still going at it.
And so now we will have Chris Berry and Duane Price. They are still shooting off for 3rd place. Now remember, Duane shot a 29. Chris Berry also shot a 29. So these guys will go head-to-head for one. Well, it could be more rounds, but
Could be,
typically
yeah.
it's one end.
Yeah. And we will have the shoot off for the number 1.
Chris has got one really high there. Duane's got one. that's going to catch the X for sure. That's inside the 10 line on Duane's arrow, and with the size of that arrow, if he's that far inside, he cannot miss the X. Barry comes back and answers with an X of Duane with a big 9. That's what we call a big 9 there. You see the look on Duane's face. He did not like that shot. Duane, of course, he's been around for a long time. This is his 4th year as a senior pro. 48 years old, shoots from Matthews, gold tip. He's out of Greenfield, Wisconsin.
48 years shooting, actually.
48 years shooting, yes, I'm sorry. He's won Vegas before, won NFAA Nationals, ASA Shooter of the Year. He won the OPA tournament. He won the Dakota Classic, the Iowa Pro-Am. Duane's an excellent shooter.
Then we're still alive with this shoot-off.
Duane definitely has 2 out, and Chris Berry has 2 out.
Real close.
So unofficially, I would call this a tie until those judges take a look at that top arrow from Duane.
On the opposite side of the arrow for Duane, so
And if they call that arrow out, then Chris would win. If they call that arrow an X, which would be scored as a 10, then it would be tied. They would do it again. You can see Brian Scheffler getting in there to get a really solid look at that, see if it's cutting that X line or touching that X line.
And when you're shooting at other times on a bale with 2 or 3 other people at least, this process can move a little quicker. You don't have these judges that are going to go down and look at it. This is really to make sure that we have precise numeric information to determine who's going to be first, second, or third.
28.
Absolutely.
So 28. So
that means
the pace of the shooting, usually when you're shooting at a local tournament or even when you come to Vegas and you're doing flights and you're in other rooms, it tends to be a little quicker than this.
It's much quicker because the archers are settling it for themselves for the most part. You know, there's 4 archers on a bale. That's the qualification round. And we don't have these 3
Barry,
judges
28.
taking a look at it. And again, that's an official tie there, 28 points apiece, which means they hit 1 X and 2 10s each, or 2 9s.
So another N to determine 3rd place here in the championship compound senior division. The youth adult championship compound division was decided. Of course, Carson Sapp from Georgia took #1 spot, and then Anthony Ferraro out of Pennsylvania was 2nd. Eli Hughes out of North Carolina in 3rd. So those shooters all done for 2017
Now
Vegas
I've
shoot.
seen Duane in this position before where he misses one. And man, does he bear down on that. This will fire him up. You saw his scope there. He's got a little card on the side of his scope. Now he does that to just kind of block that vision from that left eye. It's the same thing that Chris uses the tape on his glasses for. 2 big misses there.
Wow, looks like Barry's that's an 8-9 liner.
But in this method of scoring, the way that they do it,
Doesn't really matter unless
he
you're
gets
right
the
there in the middle.
entire yellow there will be scored as a 9. Now his second arrow is good, is probably going to be an X. Duane, though, is high right. That will be scored as a 9. So this could decide it right here. Chris has got 1 in, 1 out. That's in. So Duane absolutely needs this to even have a chance. But it's likely that it's over.
Again, unofficial score, upper left-hand part of your screen. Bryson Berry shooting. Championship compound senior. This is for 3rd place. Vegas Shoot 2017. Interesting choice.
Duane hits the 10 for sure.
All right.
Unofficially,
Interesting choice for him to wait.
looking pretty good.
Just
for Chris
to
Berry.
wait on that and let Chris shoot.
That's why we have judges.
Settle his nerves, recompose himself just a little bit.
Nice deep
He
breath.
has that full 2-minute clock. Chris marches right down. He wants to know what's going on. You see him glance over his shoulder looking for Duane there.
Just a
Missouri's
little
Chris
pressure.
Berry looking for 3rd place here at Vegas. Like I was mentioning before, we still have, coming up after this, we will have
All right.
the shoot-off to
Duane Price,
determine 1st
28.
and 2nd in this senior division of
28 for
championship
Duane.
compound, along with championship compound female
you're not feeling
that'll be
something,
shooting off for
you
2nd
have
and
to hold
3rd,
it in
as
your-
well as championship recurve female.
Correct.
for 2nd and 3rd place.
And then after that, we have the big show
And
where
give
we
a
have
big hand to
all
3rd place, Chris Berry.
And make sure that
And there it is. It's official. Chris wins it.
So Chris, hand in the air, PSC shooter with a handshake from Bruce Cull. He'll take 3rd place in the championship compound senior division.
Nice handshake there from Duane. Great sportsmanship between those two. This is super exciting for Chris. As I say, he's won this before in the bow hunter division. He's been in this shoot-off before in the open.
Well, coming up next, 1st place shoot-off for the championship compound senior category.
So now we're going to move into the 1st place shoot-off in the senior division.
For the championship compound female and championship recurve female categories.
So coming up next with an announcement to the crowd.
Please congratulate all of our competitors once more.
Championship compound senior for 1st place.